and trap.
Hey, it's me, Max. Welcome to Stitch of Fate, a Vampire the Masquerade V5 podcast. Since we'll be portraying vampires who have left their mortal lives behind, expect there are going to be bad things that deal with difficult themes and content meant for an adult audience. This content may include, but is not limited to, body horror, murder, gore, extreme emotional situations, and graphic images. Remember, don't hold those actions against the players, just the character. Take care of yourself, and take a break if you need it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to some more Stitch of Fate, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition podcast. As always, I am your storyteller, Mike Martin, joined by my four wonderful players, Mark, Dot, Josh, and Bub. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Max.
I've spent a whole hour, and now we're playing some more, so we'll keep playing, and it'll be a great time. This is the time where we do need a recap, however, and there's only two people to choose from. And I kind of want to save the last one for Mark because I want Mark to do it in a Max-like style. So, Dot, I need a recap of the past 3 episodes.
Oh my god. Okay, so we learned that Duke outed Vera privately, praise be, about some sketchy past and history. Sean got his first paycheck.
Did.
And we called a meeting with the Thin Blood Primogen.
Mr. Larson.
Yeah, Mr. Larson. Sean actually went and visited him at his haven, or his, home. And the sheriff was also paying him a visit that evening. And we managed to get his ear, and we decided to come clean both sides about what's really going down with the prince's dead ghoul and that crime scene. And Larson had a little bit of a panic attack and revealed that this stitch-lipped woman, or I don't want to call her a girl because I don't think she's a woman. A stitch-lipped woman is somehow or was romantically involved with Larson.
He's a player.
Yeah, he was romantically involved with Larson for a period of time, and she had to leave the city, or was forced to leave the city, and basically there's some lover drama there. I still don't understand all of it, I guess. But there's some lover drama between them.
Enough from him.
I got enough of it, yeah.
Details.
So there's some lovers' quarrels there, and she was not supposed to be here, and now she's back. And she been smooching on Sean. So...
And Sean's all horned up for the girl now.
Horned up. So we have planned to try to... We need to lay eyes on her. So the team has come together to the Drac Pack to, after, of course, passing Sean off our honorary mascot, T, and... decided to try to trap her in some way. So we're doing some extra research. The crime scene was searched, and we found a knife and some other things that led to just more questions, really. And so two plans have been hatched. The first one is an immediate plan to make her jealous. I'll just say that. And then the secondary plan is to try to bring her out of hiding by endangering Sean without letting him know.
And that's where our camera will pick up. So let's set the scene and rejoin our coterie. The sounds that first greet our ear are mixed music, as our coterie, or a part of it, walks down a busy city street and sidewalk, bodies mashed against one another in typical New York fashion, as different clubs and bars pass by their left and right. The two that our camera lays eyes on, as it settles to street level, is Sean and a very different-looking Vera, dressed more appropriately for the street as opposed to her high posh club, and the rather extravagant clothes we always find her in. Where Sean looks like Sean, Except his t-shirt doesn't have a hole in it any longer, as he wears one emblazoned with the logo of an old 70s cartoon called the Drac Pack. And on his arm is Vera, a mismatched pair if eyes ever saw one. They both look pleasant to be around, at least outwardly. And the sound will pick up and mute, and we'll hear the voices of Vera and Sean as they've been walking this street now for about 10 minutes after leaving the club. And nearby, watching as always, we know to be Max, unseeable and unhearable.
So what's the plan, Vera? We've been out here for like an hour.
Well, I thought you'd step up and actually take me on a date. Is this usually what you do with the women in your life?
If you want me to take you on a date, I'd treat you right. But this ain't the plan, is it?
Yes, Sean, it is. Some plans don't hatch through thin blood magic. Some are simply planted. So, we're going to walk the streets. If she sees us, wonderful. If not, well, then I get to see you keep squirming.
Oh, yeah.
Where
All
do
right.
you go to have fun, Sean? Treat old Vera.
Where would I take Vera on a date? It's like
I'm not
kind of-
Vera. I'm...
Sally.
Oh, God. I'm Sally.
Now, the important question is it Sally with a Y or Sally with an IE?
It has to be with just an I. I'm that kind of Sally.
Oh,
Gotcha.
no.
I mean, actually, you're Sally with two eyes.
A whispered voice comes between the both of you. You can hear in both ears.
And, of course, all Vera can think of is taking the eyes of thin bloods. And she simply leans over to shoulder. She says, your humor never fails to amaze me, Max.
Yeah, it's interesting to have you here for a menage a trois.
Hey, I'm just the chaperone, all right?
Yeah, sure. I'll have her home before 10.
Yeah, no spike in the punch either.
No, if people want to get high, I've got other ways of doing that. Where would I treat Vera? You know, I've spent quite a few years here. What's the name of that place with all the billboards and lights and shit? Right in the center.
Times Square?
Times Square.
You didn't know what Times Square was?
We're going to take the subway to Times Square.
Yeah, and while you're here in town, you might want to check out the Statue of Liberty. I hear it's great, too. You ever heard of that?
No, I've fucking heard of this stuff. It's just
You're going
I'm
to
not
take
a
me on
fucking sightseer.
You're going to take me on a sightseeing extravaganza for our date. This is the best you can do. Oh.
I'm thinking of places on the street. I'm being tactical here.
The point is to draw her out, not to take her to a Broadway show.
Oh, well, fuck. If you want an actual date with Sean, let's get blazed.
Perfect. Show me where you do this.
Oh, this is going to be good. I'm gonna take her to my mate's
I like to go to Eddie's. You are taken on a rather long walk. The finer buildings fade away to more dilapidated and even questionably lived-in buildings, boarded up windows, shattered glass, and trash all along the roads. And Sean drags you further and further into this part of town until eventually some nonchalant brick building that you can see a flickering light out of on the second floor, but the first floor looks abandoned with graffiti tags all on the walls, is walked up. The door itself is off the top hinge. There's no real lock. Sean has to give it a couple hard tugs to get it out of the door frame before eventually it wobbles free and it slides open. As the door opens, you can actually hear something. It's definitely not music, but maybe the TV is blasting really loudly upstairs, as muffled voice with some sort of sounds behind it, as Sean walks Vera up these stairs. The streets themselves are no longer packed with people. Those on the street try to avoid eye contact for the most part, unless, of course, they have business with you. And eventually you get to the front apartment door. It has a B on it that's listed to the side. And as Sean goes to reach, hey, it's locked, but that's not surprising.
This is where you bring your dates. Are you a serial killer?
I wouldn't know where to start with that. No, this is just like most people want to go out with me because I can very easily supply with them with a copious amount of drugs.
But you're
That,
not
or they
going
think I'm
out.
cute,
You're
you know?
staying in. She kind of takes his whole apartment in. Oh.
Maybe one of us can afford to go out to the fucking opera or whatever, but this is what I've got. And I knock very loudly on the door.
Bang, 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 bang. Vera bites her lip and prepares herself as
I was about to say I strike a pose.
she looks like she's ready to impress somebody as the door eventually cracks open and the metal chain holding the door shut on the other side. He peers through and he sees you and he's like, oh no, and the door slams shut and you hear the clanging of locks before the door swings open, and in his tighty whities and a stained white t-shirt is his friend Eddie. Looking at him, he's got a joint between his lips, and in his left hand he has a baggie with some white powder in it, just nonchalantly dangling between his index finger and his middle finger. Hey, buddy, and he reaches over and just grasps you by the shoulder and pulls you in for like a hug.
Give him a big hug.
Pants
And then he pulls back and
optional.
looks Vera up and down very just obviously, and he's like, it is a new month, new girl, I do guess. And he takes like a giant drag off the joint and he steps in. Come on in. Welcome to Eddie's place.
Max sort of leans in, just whispers in Vera's ear.
If I'd known it was going to be this kind of party, I would have worn my bathrobe.
I wouldn't have. Well,
Come.
worn pants? I don't know.
Yeah,
Whisper
well,
to myself as,
something tells me you're in for an exciting evening of video games.
oh, way to rouse my blood.
As you
Step through the
step
door.
in and the door shuts behind you, there is simply a couch with, as that Eddie walks over and plops himself into, and as he readjusts, you can hear his skin of his leg peeling off the pleather of the couch as he adjusts. A beanbag in the corner that has a very obvious dent, but no body in it. A bathroom and bedroom over down the hall, and I guess you could call it a kitchen. It's a small little sliver with a microwave and two electric plate stove that's just tucked in the corner. As he plops into the couch, he tosses the bag of powder on the nearby table. He takes another long drag before he kind of blows out the smoke. What's your poison for tonight, dear boys and girls?
I'm thinking something a little chill. How about you, Sally?
Sally. I like that.
yes, so do I. Chill. I'm so chill.
He looks to her. It looks over immediately as he speaks, and then looks over to Sean. Fancy lady you brought here.
I am a fancy man.
That is absolutely a lie. As he takes
Yeah.
the way she talks, brother. I'm just saying. And he looks over to you, or looks over to Vera. Just saying, the way you say words is fancy sounding. I get.
Well, Sean.
Anyway, he hands over the joint over to Sean. He stands up, kind of half-assed.
Here we go. Oh, great. He just like flumps onto the sofa, like
fills up the
dust
other
goes
side.
everywhere.
He looks over as Sean takes a drag and then reaches to take it, and then gestures to Vera.
Oh. She takes the joint and probably takes a really deep inhale. She will rouse for this one. She drinks, she smokes Cuban cigars. And
Would you like to rouse the blood so your lungs work?
Yeah, totally.
Please do. Okay, you get a little hungrier as you take an enormous drag.
And I pass it back.
As he takes it back, he gives you kind of an impressed nod, and he makes a gesture to the beanbag.
He wants me to sit in the beanbag chair?
Yeah,
Oh,
he gestures
Lord.
for you to sit in the beanbag, like take a load off.
Okay. I do, very gracefully probably. And I probably make a big deal of like crossing my legs.
Yep.
As I like watch them.
So
for a
you
second.
sit down and you cross your legs, like obviously so. And after taking a big hit, he looks back to you and he's like, looks back over to Sean rather, and he's like, really?
Really?
Yes, really, Sean. Tell him
You
all
two are
about it.
fucking. And he looks over to Vera.
Oh,
Go ahead,
weird.
Sean.
I mean, if you really want to know the details, it's like animal
He
shit.
actually takes another drag, and he just like, I don't think I remember the last time you haven't told me the details, brother. And he hands it back to you.
Well,
Oh,
you
you
have to
gotta-
understand. He really does love that diaper. And when I string him to the ceiling, it's not really... He's unable to speak, so...
Yeah, and there was this guy who wanted me to wear high heels.
And you did?
No, I had to kick his ass out.
But she puts you in a diaper?
I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? If it gets people off.
Vera's probably the only one who hears this audible sigh in her ear as Max finds a corner of the room, reaches into his coat, and just pulls out a really battered copy of All-Star Comics #3, and he just begins leafing through.
Yep. I hear the comic book, I'm like, oh my god. What a failed date.
She's really fancy though. She's actually can afford a sex swing. It's something else.
Where'd you meet her? Where'd you two meet? And he looks back to Sally.
And pottery class. Where all great BDSM relationships start.
Yeah, something about pot. Anyway.
All right. Well, hey, listen. I was about to play some Warzone. If you were feeling it. And he reaches over and he flicks on a nearby a console. He grabs a couple controllers. He tosses one to Sean just automatically, almost reflexively, has his, and then looks over to Sally, and then he looks back. Oh, do you?
Sean, I'm in the mood. Let's go.
You can just use our bedroom.
Pass.
He looks over. When's the last time that was? Sean, it's always been good enough for you.
I've got to up my.
So you're just going to come here, take a few drags and leave? Not even going to play a round of Warzone?
Look, I will come back to you, but as payment for your gracious hosting, he just slaps a baggie of weed on the table like, don't smoke it all because that's the good stuff and I want some.
He lurches off of the couch, the sound of peeling skin off pleather as he grabs the baggie and dangles it.
Vera stands up and she turns on awe. She can't do this anymore. She can't.
Okay, you turn on awe. You may, Sean and Max get a resist out of this. Unfortunately, our dear mortals.
I don't even know if Max is face deep in a comic book. So
yeah, Max might not even be paying too much attention.
Yeah, Max. He's reading the first appearance of the Justice Society. So
perfect.
Yes, perfect.
So Sean has to make a roll. What's the resist roll?
Composure intelligence versus the user's manipulation presence.
Oof, that's a rough roll for our dear boy Eddie here. 2 successes.
And I need to roll against them. So I also got 2 successes.
Would you like to use a willpower or no? No, Ty goes, well, Eddie will fail. Ty goes into the player.
That's fine.
Leave it up to you whether Sean fails or succeeds on the tie. But as soon as you fling on awe, so you're going to be adding your presence roll to your social pools from here on out. You are in a place that is Vera does not consider pleasant. And the Toreador Bane would kick in here as well. So make sure you take a penalty to your social pool as well. But as you begin to speak, it's clear to you as you stand up and you're like, Sean, I'm in the mood. Eddie is confused. It offers you the bedroom. And then as you begin to speak, his gaze very quickly goes from Sean and is transfixed onto Vera. Sean, you can feel the pull. But up to you what happens. Vera, what do you say? What do you do?
I close the gap between myself and Eddie, and I simply enter his space and I say, go put on a pair of pants.
Manipulation, persuasion, please. -2 plus your presence. He stands up and he says, yeah. He looks at Sean, sorry, I should be better about this thing. I'm the fancy lady and all. And he takes a huge drag and then he just jams the joint into your palm. Vera, as he walks off to the bedroom.
Hey, I brush my palm off a little bit. Sean, we have got to find you better company. This is where you spend your time.
Eddie's solid, and we can't afford to do fuck all else.
Well, you can now.
Yeah, well, I've no idea where to spend it. I'll think of something, but...
The door flings open and it comes up. You hear the zipper of his pants. You look over. He's got jeans that are a bit too small on him.
Oh my god.
Hey, like I said, we got to go. Important stuff to do.
He gestures behind him with his hand over his shoulder. Again, bedroom. I'm telling you, I just changed the sheets about 4 days ago.
I'm going to take you both out.
Oh. I didn't think you were into that kind of thing, bud. And he walks over and claps you on the back, Sean.
You know I love you. I'm like, well, we'll see.
I feel like there's a good cigar bar in our future, and maybe I'll have a bite to eat afterwards.
Cigar? Don't you want to like smoke weed or something instead? If you got some,
sorry, Eddie, I don't think you understand. You're coming with us. Please.
Yeah. But we're going to a cigar bar. I can bring you to like a weed bar. And then he gestures to his bedroom.
Eddie, I have a better idea since you're so quaint. Why don't you go into your bedroom, self-serve yourself, and stay here alone for the rest of the evening? Sean and I are going out.
Are you persuading him to do such a thing?
Yes.
Yeah, please make me the persuasion, manipulation persuasion. And he
have
looks,
fun.
He's just like, you know what? That's probably a good idea anyway. I hate cigars. It tastes like ass. And he walks into the bedroom and he's like, Sean, have a good night, man. Next time, Warzone.
Yeah, man. We'll get him next time.
We'll get that dub. And then he shuts the door.
Oh.
Max, you're kind of pulled out of your comic book reading from him shouting, like, get that dub as he heads into his bedroom. You look up and you realize Vera and Sean are standing getting ready to leave.
Okay. Well, looks like this scintillating evening's over, huh?
Well, Sean, I don't know where or how you find women and why you bring them here, but I promise you can do better than all of this.
Yeah, plus the whole idea was to be in public, wasn't it? To draw her out?
I don't know anymore, man.
Well, now I'm feeling feisty, so we're going to go walk the streets again, and this time we'll just make sure everybody sees us, huh, Sean?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Vera, we'll do what you want. Don't fuck with Eddie, though. He's a good man.
Yeah, well, as fun as this trip to visit your friend Booger or whatever was, I think we ought to get back on the street if we want this to pay off.
Sean, if I wanted to mess with Eddie, I could have just killed him.
Great, let's go.
And we watch as the three of them leave, mingle back into the street as Max disappears, and try, as they might, to bait out the stitched lip girl. Perhaps stopping
This time,
by
I was about to say, this time we might stop by, but Vera's like, we're on the streets, and she's got awe on. So it's all eyes. Make Sean as uncomfortable as humanly possible.
Sean, as you walk with this woman on your arms, there's jealous looks that are constantly shot your way. Most people try and stop and try to have small talk with Vera. Some even at outside bars bringing over drinks as she passes by because she's having just polite conversation with whoever ends up coming by. A socialite that you've never really seen out of Vera before. And then when they realize, and Vera makes it very plain and clear that she's with you, those who are having pleasant conversation then get a little bit aggressive. They look to you, they'll give you dirty glances, they'll even some openly scoff, or those jocks that even walk by making fun of how scrawny and pathetic you look and how you could do better with men like them, and all the things that make being with someone who's trying to make you jealous uncomfortable. And so it becomes uncomfortable, not because Sean is jealous, but just because the attention is unwanted and constant when awe is on.
So, now that we're out and Sean is in a worse mood, he is going to attempt to see if there's anyone either looking for or anyone selling drugs on corners. Because he's going to use this all as a distraction to get the thing he actually wanted to do done.
So you're going to step away, slip off from Vera and Max, and try and get a deal brokered if you can.
Well, I mean, if Vera can attract attention...
Oh, you want to use her as the reason that
yeah.
people are... Okay, Absolutely.
Okay.
So you're just what
you
drugs
tell
are
her
you
this?
looking for here? Are you just looking to kind of fill just your own personal pockets?
No, the plan is to he'll probably use some of the money that he got from Vera to like just buy drugs off people. He doesn't need it.
Yeah,
but he's gonna like trade with people. But the plan is to like start the rumor that what was it? Tommy the Italian does bad business.
Tommy the Mouse
isn't honest. Tommy the Mouse.
So you're just gonna start spreading the rumors through the drug dealers. Start at the ground floor and hope it percolates up the chain through the grapevine to those that it matters. Because you know, in this wonderful industry of yours, that every dealer answers to somebody else. Sometimes it's the bigger dealer and sometimes it's the supplier. But eventually, all those where the drug comes from, so do the mafia, and they all intermingle there. And if you can get it starting to rot at the core and all the way to the top, you have yourselves a good situation on your hands. So I would love for you to make me with awe. Are you going to use, do you have awe with you, Sean?
Don't have awe with me at the moment.
So for you yourself, do you have, go ahead, did you?
I was thinking manipulation streetwise.
I like it. I would accept a manipulation streetwise roll here, gladly. Do you have a specialty that might add a +1?
Not in this instance, no.
Okay.
No bonuses. Oof, 2. I'm going to willpower that.
Okay.
But this is something Sean is pretty good at. That's 4 now.
That is 4 successes. And this roll represents the course of 2 to 3 hours of walking and, the attention being drawn and over the time accumulating a small audience of 4 or 5 who are always kind of dangling nearby, a posse, if you will. But this, like you said, Sean, presents an opportunity. And every so often you see down the street or at a corner or a familiar face, or at the very least somebody talking to somebody in a way and in such a private manner that you at least have your suspicions. And so Sean takes a little bit of his money and starts to form an idea. Walks over to a drug dealer and buys a little bit, but in the meantime having very polite conversation with them, talking about their nights or what they may have in common. And then at the end, it's like, oh, did you hear about Tommy the Mouse? Oh yeah, I heard a deal went bad. I don't know the details, but something about wanting to be aggressive with the Russians or start something. Yeah, just be careful out there. It's dangerous. And similar conversations of that sort. Oh, I heard Tommy the Mouse tried to rob the Russians of the drugs or take their stash or something. And just enough where the stories are still connected by a similar string of truth, but each one has just enough lies to get everybody talking to each other, to cross-reference the stories, to get them to want to know more and to figure out those details. And Sean, yep.
Well, shouldn't Tommy the Mouse should he even be in the drug business? That sounds like, maybe it's just from Godfather or whatever, but don't they not deal with that shit?
And even when you bring that up, some of you are even aware of that. Like, oh yeah, that's supposed to be a weird rule. Somebody actually asked, like, oh, I thought that was dealt with in the 80s, but unfortunately, the only rule of law that any mafia can abide by in the world of darkness present day is their own. And so they retook up that particular rule as drugs became more prevalent on the streets again.
Oh, man.
But Sean is convinced, after a good few hours, there were enough who seemed eager to know more. Enough of them were asking more questions, and you just didn't have the answers. What a shame. But as the night winds down, and Vera turns off awe after having sated herself and realized that Sean is no longer particularly giving a shit about this, what you're doing here, we can watch as you all make your way back to the club after a few hours. And Sean, having saying goodbye to one random person at a corner before he rejoins, and everybody realizing Sean had been taking care of business for a little bit.
Fist bump.
You fist bump as the back door opens, the music you can hear kind of muffled in the background, and you head downstairs.
And that is how you take care of business. Fuck yeah.
We did not see him do business.
You don't? You did not? You saw him step away a few times, or he'll talk to somebody who came by, but a lot of time it just kind of looked like he was getting away from you because it was annoying.
And
so
he definitely didn't
he's
have
like,
to play
hell
up.
Yeah, and you're not quite sure why.
Yeah, he definitely didn't have to play up the fact that he was annoyed, because you did a great job.
But Sean's mood has visibly changed heading back into the club. I mean, he was pissed off. He told you not to bother Eddie, and now he's fist bumping you and mumbling to himself kind of successfully, and he carries himself just differently right now.
You're in a good mood.
Yeah, well, I did a job I was actually good at.
Wow.
There's a reason to keep me around.
Yeah, you're a regular fancy man.
Yeah,
we keep you around for more reasons than that, Sean.
I'm sure you do. I have no fucking clue what they are. But look, if it comes back to us in a few months that you're hearing rumors about how the mouse is a bad dealer and bad for the drug trade, then who knows? Who knows where that came from? Don't forget to mention it to the people who actually sell the drugs, though, because then he won't get any. It's just good business.
So you took care of that, huh?
We'll see. Well, the rumor mill's a fucking crapshoot, so...
What?
Yeah, that's a kind of a mixed metaphor there.
Well, I don't know that I smoked the dope or whatever it is that you...
All this while, the camera's got you in focus and the conversation will continue. But in the background, sitting at a table just out of focus, Duke is sitting there, listening to all of this. Duke had been busy those past few hours, and we will look at what Duke was doing, but Duke is here for this. He's just not noticed yet. Please continue, Vera. Sorry.
Whatever it is you do, smoking the dope, I can't do that or have no interest, but I know you drink, don't you, Sean?
Yep.
Well, let's get a drink.
Vera turns to grab a drink, and as she's getting ready to leave the room and turns to leave the room, there's Duke in the corner, just watching.
Oh.
Jesus Christ, man.
Hi, Duke.
Continue on. I'm just here doing my own projects and studies.
Eventful evening.
He has papers in front of him that he's reading.
Informative. You would probably notice, Vera, that there are photographs of a dated club, very old photographs. They would probably look very familiar to you.
Well, I see. Once again, very busy, Duke. Well, we went out for a rather sad date. But Sean pulled through in the end and got some real work done.
Oh yeah, Max. You hear from that girl? Mia? No signs? Nothing?
No signs, no. I didn't see nothing. I got to admit, I stopped paying attention for a while because the evening was just so entertaining that I couldn't take anymore and needed to step back briefly.
Yeah, all right. I'll work on my dates.
But no.
It's only for your own good, Sean.
I don't think that that was in any way successful in flushing her out. I don't think if she was looking, she was doing it very well and very secretly. I didn't spot her at all.
Well, then maybe we learned 2 things this evening. Well, 3 things, if you count the fact that Sean does not know how to take a woman on a date. We also learned that maybe jealousy isn't an option. She would have come out or will soon. And the other thing we may have learned is maybe she's not stalking him as close as we think.
Also that Eddie does not like to wear pants. We know that now.
Eddie,
we know that.
We
Eddie is a free
this.
spirit.
Well, I free-spirited his ass right back into the bedroom.
Max just says,
Look, I gotta go check in with some friends of mine.
leans into Vera.
Maybe we should think about that other option, Duke's friend.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Okay.
Never hurts.
Yeah, take it easy there, Sean.
He basically takes off. He leaves the club. He's going to go attend to a couple of other things.
We're going to rewind time rather quickly, though, as Duke was busy during that date that everybody had been on. You were to Central Park, where you were planning on meeting your dear friend Johann from the Chantry. See what information he may have for you on the ritual information you gave him prior, the sketches that Maxwell had the last time you visited him. And as always, when you approach in this night in the park, where there are no people around, he eventually gets sight of you. There's a visible excitement and pleasantness that crawls across his face as you approach. Duke, hey! And he walks over with like a notebook in hand.
Johann, You're looking rather exuberant tonight.
And you look as calm as ever.
As a cucumber, yes, I've been told.
Cool. Yes, cute. Yes. Yeah. Well, how have you been? Sorry, it's been a while since I've reached out, but it's just, he taps the book. This thing is.
I wanted to make sure to give you some space, Johann. I know that last time Maxwell did more than ruffling some feathers. He made you rather uncomfortable.
It's just the Nos in general, man. They creep me the fuck out.
I believe that Max is decent.
I'm sure they're all decent, I'm sure, but I just don't like being around them.
I can understand that. There are certain times that even I feel uncomfortable being around things and people.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel safe around you, though.
That may be a mistake, Johann, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, you didn't threaten me, right?
No, not at all. Just assuming that your immediate disposition to me is probably lacking forethought.
Okay, thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
Just looking out for you. You can never be too safe. The people that you may grow to trust are the ones that are oftentimes turning on you.
Yeah, so I did some studying, and he kind of like shakes his head and tries to almost like shake off the awkwardness as he flips it open. I can't figure out exactly what this thing does, but there's a couple of aspects that I've been, at least I think I've been able to piece together that worry me. If this is, I'm coming to you first, Duke, but I should take this up, if I'm honest, with the region of the Chantry, or at least my teacher. This is some scary shit, if I'm right. So whatever this ritual is, it involves at least something to do with exsanguination. You know what that word means, Duke?
To deprive of blood. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. There's some exsanguination related to this thing, but it's not exactly the word. It's not even exactly part of the word. It's more, you're not Tremere, and it's against the...
Enlighten me.
I'm going to boil
Johann.
it down for you. There seems to be at least an aspect of diablerization involved in this ritual. Not the full thing. It's not... Like I said, it doesn't make sense, but the core meaning of diablerization, the soul aspect of it seems to be wrapped into this somehow. I don't understand. I'm still a student. I'm still learning, Duke. I'm sorry, but if I'm right, and with my limited knowledge and what I can even craft, or what I have access to back at the Chantry, like, this needs to go up.
That was my fear, Johann. Would it make a difference if I told you that I had a sample of the blood of the person that we had found this ritual around?
Could it help? Yeah. Off the top of my head, I don't have anything I can do with it, but I can...
There's not much, and it is dried. And I'll produce a small, what looks like baggie of dried blood.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're good with me going up the chain, right? Like, this is...
Yes and no. I'd like to know whom is involved before that they are involved. I need to make sure that there is proper clearance. My own investigation is important, and this may mean quite a lot to the Camarilla.
Well, I would go to my teacher, who I imagine would then go to the regent. They're all part of the Camarilla, though. But if this is a personal matter... If this is a personal matter, then let's just pretend I didn't help you on this, all right? And you take with what you can, but...
If you'd wish to investigate this further, if you could not implicate myself or even my coterie in the involvement, I'd love to know what else you can find as a student. Are
you asking me to do this without my teacher's help?
I'm asking you to continue on following your interests, Johann, but to withhold the information about myself, if this is in fact interesting to you.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's dangerous, but I'm not going to deny that I'm
Moths
curious.
are drawn to flame, Johann. Moths are drawn to flame.
Yeah, but don't they get burned if they touch it? Exsanguination and at least an aspect of diablerization, Duke. Are you hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth? The blood is being drained completely from their bodies for some reason. And there's an aspect of the core being of these people. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know what this is for.
Johann, it's not that your words are not falling and hitting in the right spots. Instead, you should change the perspective of your mind. You should see exactly how they land when I hear them. I'm not shaken by insanguination. I'm not shaken by diablerization.
But you should be, is what I'm saying, Duke. You know what you should be. That's the shit that kills us.
We all die eventually, Johann.
Yeah. Hopefully not for a few hundred years.
That's the grander hope. That's why I want to get in front of this, because this is not a school project. It is not homework. This is a part of a murder investigation.
Yeah, I just don't want it to get me killed. Or you.
Would your teacher, your mentor, per se, be offended if you bypassed them and immediately went to the regent?
There's a potential. They take it as an insult, yeah.
Whom is your mentor, Johann?
That's not allowed to be shared, really.
And whom is the regent? Is that public knowledge?
Ashling Sturbridge.
There you go. Ashland Sturbridge. Sturbridge is, Sturbridge is the regent.
What is the overall, what would Duke's knowledge be of this individual?
Well, the Chantry and the General and the Regent act kind of independently, but not really. They're not part of they're not part of the Primogen Council. They kind of have their own structure, power structure, and they kind of they counsel the prince on decisions and whatnot, especially of magical nature, because Tremere are seen as necessary but obnoxious in a lot of ways. Long story short, you would know the Regent has a decent amount of independent power, but they still counsel the prince on a lot of the things they do. And they are very to themselves, very quiet, very sturdy and steadfast.
Would it be a problem if I were to meet your mentor?
I could ask.
Do they have a profound interest in history by any means?
Blood magic relies on knowledge and history, Duke. Yeah. It's how we learn. It's how we hone our craft.
If they are apprehensive, tell them that Duke would like to see them, and if they are familiar at all with, and old enough with New York Elysium meets, they should know exactly whom I am, and the severity of this, by my name alone.
All right. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm a little more nervous now. Like, this ritual is... I mean, a murder's a murder. It sucks, but usually it's like a kindred. It's just one of our kind who got a little too hungry or got a little too upset about something. This is like plotted. This is purposeful.
Johann, just answer for me if this is definitely Tremere blood magic, or if this is a thin blood that is trying to step outside of their own bounds. And
Hey, he kind of like looks. He's like, you've been around for a while, Duke. You remember when the Tremere were more Loctite than a freaking chastity belt around a virgin? That shit ain't the way it is anymore. Secrets are falling out. The pyramid is not really there anymore. A thin blood could have had access to it. Anybody who has any knowledge of blood sorcery to a fundamental degree could start experimenting if they have enough pieces. It could be a Tremere, could be a thin blood.
Then let me ask you this.
Could be any clan who has the secrets they're not supposed to.
This type of magic, I'm guessing that this blood magic is not offered to a fresh lick or a neonate. This is something that must be taught later.
He kind of just gestures like haphazardly, kind of slapping the book with his hand. I understand only the stuff that I was taught. That's maybe a tenth of what this ritual entails.
Then there's history in this. Johann, you know how to find me.
Yeah. I'll try. I'll talk to my mentor, but also, I'm interested in knowing what the fuck this is, so it's just understand, Duke, that this is
Dangerous.
This is some dangerous shit. And I am,
Shaken.
compared to all of you, young as hell. I'm a neonate.
Johann, you're sweet. You have to grow up sometime. This could be a very important lesson.
And I hope that is what it is, and I learn something from it, and don't end up dying from it, that's all.
I'm going to give Johann the description of the girl from what we were given by Sean.
Sure. He looks puzzled the entire time, and he's like, no, I don't know who that is.
Pass the information to your mentor as well. We believe that her name may be Mia. If that resonates or rings any bells.
And you think she might be the one doing this? At least the ritual?
Suspect.
All right. I'll pass it along. I'm sure the Chantry will be fascinated with the information, especially with... Yeah, it was good to see you, Duke. Appreciate it. Anything else I can do?
Only if there's anything that you need. These meetings are beneficial to us both. It would be a shame if you walked away with nothing.
No, but I don't think you still get it, do you, Duke? I learned something. Every time we get together, I learn something.
Knowledge.
But if I ever need something more tangential, I'll let you know.
Knowledge is power, after all. I can respect that.
It is the only thing these people deal in.
Good evening, Johann. Take care of yourself.
Evening, Duke. You too, bud. Have a good one. And he kind of spins on his heels and leaves. Which would bring us back to the basement after that conversation is done. And Duke has an opportunity to speak with the crew about his night's activities if he even wishes to.
I'll just give them the shakedown of what it was like. Inform them that Johann is still a neonate in the Chantry. He has expressed that this level of blood magic is beyond him, and that he needs to go higher up. I expressed before he goes higher up that I personally meet his teacher of sorts, he declared, a mentor. But this is beyond his knowledge. It's informed, old, and it's passionate blood magic. This was no mere accident. It's planned.
Okay.
Well, shit. I mean, Larson was pretty shaken up by it, so that makes sense. Are we just kind of abandoning him? I mean, I'm not his biggest fan, but I don't think he deserves that.
The Primogen didn't rise to his point of power by not being careful. I'm sure he has things in place to protect him, at the very least, especially now that he is aware that a previous fling has come back.
Fuck. Okay.
So, a powerful bit of blood magic that
Johann
siphons.
Already has the blood as well. I gave him the rest from the baggie.
So, this ritual, it devoids the body of its blood.
Insanguination, that is correct. At least partial. He even utilized the term diablerization.
Did he now?
Sean, are you familiar with that?
Oh, yeah. It's against the law. You're well aware of what it is.
I'm not allowed to do it, but whatever it is, I've no clue.
Well, we know there weren't no diablerie involved in the killing of the ghoul. He wasn't kindred, so... You think that she's been using this on kindred?
Possibly. I'm just trying to think why she's wanting to use it on, well, our kindred, and I look at, possibly Sean, or hinting at the thin blood Primogen. Why? She comes back with a little grudge. She had to leave, he didn't. She loves him still, but
Why this ritual? You said there's history in this one, Duke. It's old.
Yes, it does seem like it's a bit of a crime of passion. There's certain things about it that is remarkable in its extent.
I don't suppose your investigations told me who I gotta punch.
I'm leaning into that right now, and I'm trying to figure out exactly whom that might be. Yeah. But I don't necessarily believe that this starts or ends with Larson.
I don't either. The real question is, who is her target? Yes, Duke. Yes.
Prince Panhard has come to mind.
Okay, here's a proposal. We double-cross the Thin Blood Primogen. We just go to the prince with everything we know. Lay it on the table.
I'm trying with some difficulty to recant the tale exactly how Larson was to deal with Mia. They were friends, but were they supposed to separate? Were they consistently allowed to be allies, or was there something more there?
She was forced to leave. Right, Mathis?
She was supposed to be killed.
And he was
That's
supposed
it.
to do
He
it.
was supposed to kill her.
He was supposed to kill her.
So
And he
he's
did
sitting
not.
on a rather large lie, which means if we spilled the beans, well, we may have a rather large mess to clean up, at least until we can assure it. I don't know heads or tails of this Mia. But if she's supposed to be dead, as per the Camarilla, then I say we handle Larson's problem and undermine him by doing a job that he never completed.
Therein lies part of the problem. I think Max sees this as well. We're walking into what feels like a bit of a trap.
Oh.
This has been staged for us. Why, I'm still unawares. But now, it has become our problem, and I think we must get in front of it, so as to avoid this pitfall.
That could work, and I'm with you lot the whole way. Question is, if the prince gets pissed off at the Thin Blood Primogen, what stops it there? Am I gonna get my head fucking cut off or something?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, the odds are good.
I fail to see where this is immediately your problem, Sean. Just because Larson fielded you under his wing doesn't necessarily mean that you're to blame. It just puts you under a point of audience, and I think that this might be valuable to the prince in his own eyes.
We still miss motive from this girl.
You're all such fucking monsters. Look.
Sean.
I know I'm supposed... No. I know I'm supposed to grow up and all that shit. And I've learned a lot from all of you. But if this means my death, then I'm with the Thin Blood Primogen.
Sean, I'd like for you to think about that very closely. If we do not do anything about this, you'll find yourself wound up on a bed, with your arms removed from your body and the top of your head simply vacated, and a halo of runic blood decorated around it.
We find something else to do. I'm not gonna fuck over the only chance I have of sticking around in this fucked up society.
Does nobody else see the issue here? He's trying to protect the individual that will likely end up getting him killed.
Yeah, look, this Thin Blood Primogen, maybe you figure your buddies or something, but I think he's kind of hanging us out to dry here, whether it's by his own design or he's just being taken advantage of. It might be a question of him or us, and I did say us, including you.
If it's... I don't know anymore. I want to trust you, but the prince might have other ideas.
And slow down and breathe. Vera, your take on this immediately.
Honestly, I don't think Larson has the balls to double-cross us, but then again, maybe I'm underestimating him. he was genuinely scared. Something about this situation is, as you so put it, personal, so I imagine that her side is also rather personal. Say we solve Larson's problem. We're not coming out the other side with a whole lot, Sean.
I think my life is a whole lot.
Just because Larson makes a mistake does not mean that you and every thin blood do. But the fact of the matter is, this is a mess that needs cleaning up. And he wants us to do it. Which means he doesn't get his hands dirty, we do.
He's scared. His position is precarious. I owe him. And if we just get this one thing done, I'll be out from whatever debt he thinks I've got to him. We'll be clear, and we can just move on.
Who originally brought the information regarding the body?
Larson, he's not...
How did Larson figure out the body was in our domain?
Let's go fucking ask him. I don't know.
He said he received reports, didn't he? But
Who would report that the ghoul of the prince was found in our domain dead to Larson and not to a hound, a sheriff, or a harpy? Or hell, for interest, even the seneschal.
Yeah, I mean, and as far as we know, we were the first ones actually on the crime scene, right?
As far as my deductive abilities could tell, yes, that is accurate.
Okay, maybe another word with Larson then.
And then we just come clean with him and tell him what we've just found with the circle, the teleporty shit or whatever, and the blade. Just please. If Larson goes, I've got no representation here.
What do you mean by here, Sean?
New York.
Sean, we're your representation. Please do not be so naive and or blind.
Yeah, come on, look, you're wearing the t-shirt for crying out loud. Did Larson give you a t-shirt? I don't think so.
I'll go tell him we want to meet.
No, Sean, I was hoping maybe we could go to Larson.
Is this another date?
Only if you want it to be, but you'll have to ask nicely.
Yeah, alright, please, can we get out of here for a sec? Go for a walk.
Make eyes to the two of them like, oh no. We broke the fragile Sean.
And as we watch the two of them gently guide their way up the stairs and get some fresh air for Sean, the camera will pull back from the club, we'll fade to black, and we'll be back next week.
Do Vera a little favor, would you? Break out that Masquerade Preacher pocket and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Pod by Night or Stitch of Fate. Make sure to leave us a little 5-star rating and review, would you? And if you don't, well, I guess I'll just have to send Max after you.
Special thank you to Kimberly and Sean Casey for sponsoring this podcast. Stitch of Fate wouldn't be possible without your incredible kindness and support. You sure know how to rouse our blood.